30 seconds to countdown. Standing by for last picture. Pictures looking good. Sound is good. Stand by for countdown. 5, 4, 3.
Morning everybody, welcome to Wild Earth this morning, or for your evening. Beautiful weekend we're having, hope everyone's having a good weekend out there. My name is Mark, Herman is on camera this morning and Pete back in final control. We've got an absolutely gorgeous morning, barely a cloud in the sky, certainly nice and fresh after a good thunderstorm yesterday. And also our first thunderstorm of the season, which is hopefully going to bring out some wonderful little creatures, and that'll bring out some bigger creatures and even bigger ones to eat them. Just going to spend a few hours driving around looking for lions and polar bears and seals and whales. Oh, we're not in the right country for that. No.
We do have seals and whales in this company, Mark.
Oh, wrong countryside then, Pete. We do have seals and whales, yes, but we're a bit far from that. And also welcome to Justin TV crowd. Welcome to a bunch of people that are hopefully going to get as addicted to this site as the weepy people. And let's see, what we're going to do. Let's head up and see if we can find some tracks of Sandy Patch, see where she went from last night. See if she may have been successful with all those impala around the Impala Plains. Interesting sounds last night at the dam. Hyena tracks. One interesting sound was a hyena that was pretty vocal, very close to the microphone. Maybe it was so close it was outside final control instead of coming over the speakers. Buffalo tracks, that's quite fresh. But also the incessant red-chested cuckoo. Sounds were actually going through last night, sounded like it. But a red-chested cuckoo that didn't stop for 1 second. It was quite interesting actually. What should we do? Head all the way up? I think so. We'll move on up to Sandy Patch. See if Sandy Patch crossed Sandy Patch.
Good morning everyone. It's nice to be on the jigger. It's nice to have all of you with us. I think it's going to be a very, very hoping one.
Yeah. This kind of thunderstorm that I was waiting for to bring out a lot of insects, to prompt a lot of insects to pupate. And up until now I haven't been seeing too many dung beetles and wasps and other little creepies, crawlies. They're not so creepy. Everything has its place in nature, and I think to some extent the smaller creatures have much more intricate lives than the larger ones. What a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. Giraffe has been here. The giraffe moved back down towards Gary Dam. I think we might expect a giraffe at the dam today. We'll go look for that later. Priority number one looking for a particular track that is not find a millipede in the road. Yeah, that's another thing, another millipede. This moisture brings out a lot of creatures that can't move around very much when it's dry on account of them having hard outer skeletons. The arthropods. Sadly, there will be an attrition rate for some of them that are on the road that may not be seen. Mortality rate. Now, there were some monkeys and baboons making a bit of noise around Gowrie Dam this morning. I'm guessing that's because maybe Mishu or at least one of the leopard are around there. We'll get back that way. It's a little bit early to go in front of the lodge. Been looking for Sandy Patch's tracks up here on Sandy Patch. We might lose signal a little bit. Please bear with me a few moments. Important part of finding a cat from yesterday. Long before cars were driving around in the bush, pathways were made by hippos, elephants, zebra, wildebeest in their daily movements. And the biggest of the pathways were always hippo and rhino paths, hippos mostly. And it's these pathways that were used by many other animals, including the predators, mostly the okay, speed. Oh, puddles, that's another thing. Start getting life in some of the puddles. As long as we keep getting rain to keep the puddles full, we'll start getting small ecosystems in some of these mud wallows and puddles on the roads. Everyone, Mark here. Anybody followed up on Sandy Patch this morning? No, thanks for that, Tony. I'll be making my way there as soon as possible. Okay, copy. And I'm still way up on Sandy Patch. I'm going to go Impala Plain and see if I can follow up on her. Wow. Oh, there's some cow and sandy colouring around the dam, so I'm sure there is one around there somewhere. I'll check that out a little bit in a little while. Just as soon as I'm on my way to Twin Dams, maybe. Wow. Herman, what did you say? You had a feeling it was going to be good?
Yes, I did.
I got something up my sleeve. Well, no, not up my sleeve. But we got something to look forward to. Now, maybe a lot of Wild Earth viewers will know what was being said there. This is code, folks. We're talking code. 2 Mapogos killing a Nyari at Twin Dams. It's like history repeating itself. Deja vu all over again.
I know a lot of the people yesterday in the Justin TV chat, Mike Moss and everyone was telling everyone about the Mapogos.
Okay.
What they've done to female cubs around the area. Now you're going to see them flesh. That's always very exciting.
In the tooth and claw and flesh and bone. There's a giraffe. Cool. Not one of the ones from the track that I saw earlier, but here we go. One of our first mammals for the morning. Our tallest and one of the most graceful animals you'll ever see in the African savannas, bushveld. This is a youngster. Only about 12 feet tall. What's good? Angle. Oh, yeah. Through there. Here's a nice little framed photo. Excuse me. Good morning, child. About a two-year-old, I'd say. Maybe 3. I'm not seeing a mother around, but she could just have her head in a bush somewhere. Move a little bit. And then she'll move. Very pale young lady, this. She's probably looking more like about 3 years old than 2 years old. She's looking. I think what she's looking for is maybe the rest of her crowd. And it could well be with Sandy Patch around here. She might have done something we saw her do a little while ago. There was a giraffe and 2 of her offspring, one very young one and a medium-sized one. And I remember this day when Sandy Patch was actually limping. She still went after the youngster giraffe and of course separated them for a while. And although giraffe aren't vocal, the giraffe don't have vocal cords, their one advantage is exceptionally good eyesight. And the fact that their heads stick up above the trees. So when you're at that height, you can see each other from quite a distance in terms of reuniting or rejoining the group when you are split up because lion have chased you. See if we can just use the slope to roll forward instead of having to start up. Oh, okay. Signed up. Looking down at the bottom there, I can see the mother of this youngster down in the dip. She did have her head in a tree. And you see the tail swishing at the back there. It's actually a good place if you can just get to see the. Excuse me. Oh, spent too much time with smokers while I was on leave, and it's affected me. Second-hand smoke. Closed areas and cigarettes don't go well. Excuse me. So we had a request from Dave asking us to do a bit of a pan of the camera to give you an idea of this habitat that we're in at the moment. And we're sort of on the edge of an open patch of ground, which we don't have too many of. Other areas out of the Juma boundaries, of course the boundaries are not fenced, but away from our traversing area there are other open areas and open plain areas. And this is one of the few that is really gives us a bit of a view. We're also at a bit of a height. You can notice that a lot of trees have got their leaves already. Some of these trees are just waiting for kind of rain that we've just had to bring them into leaf fully. This kind of bushveld is what we would call Marula combretum veld, on account of the fact that the dominant species of plants or trees here are the marula trees up on the higher ground and the combretums or the bush willows that slope down into the bottom dips, interspersed with knob thorns and silver cluster leaves. And with our giraffe moving off, we've got time to go look for lion, folks. We're going to look for our lioness first and make our way down towards Twin Dams, where there's a lot of human tracks. They must have stopped here and gotten out of the vehicle. And somebody dropped something. A band-aid and a sweet packet. So I guess my interpretation, there was a child who hurt himself, mom gave him a sweetie to calm his nerves and put on another band-aid. Detective work. It never ceases to amaze me how people can drop things in the bush. You can see there's no litter, there's no... Morning. Centipedes. How big do they grow? And segments.
I'm getting some pictures tomorrow. We'll look a little bit on that explanation.
Cool.
Good morning everyone, Peter from Final Control here. As you can see, we have some signal breakups, which sometimes happens in certain areas where the signal connection to the tower is quite weak, and especially if there's lots of humidity in the air, that also weakens our signal a little bit. But Mark is keeping on with his driving, so pretty soon he'll be in a good signal area again. And then we'll rejoin the game drive, so stay with us. There are lions at one of the apps in our area, so and it seems to have some food with them, so they're not likely to move off anywhere. So if you want to see lions, today's the day, stick with us, tell your friends to come watch, and maybe for the first time ever you'll see lions from Africa live on your own home.
Welcome back, folks. Just picked up Sandy Patch's tracks. First I thought she might move west or south across Triple M, but she's here heading straight up to Zoe's Road, so we're going to keep following her tracks for now. I have promised you that we're going to go and see lion on the Mapogos. With some other vehicles there at the moment, we're just going to take our time. Not easy to look at tracks at the moment, unless it's the sand has been churned up, but this rain has compacted the sand quite heavily, so it's pretty hard to see the likes of a soft padded animal. Soft pads of a pawed animal rather than the hooves. Little subtle signals on the sand that tell me she's walked up this way. No sign of whether she killed one of those impala last night or not. And I was talking to Phyllis about your question on millipedes and centipedes. Largest centipede. Now let's just distinguish between the two. Centipedes are insectivorous, carnivorous. Some of the larger centipedes can eat small rodents, but we don't get very big ones here. Our biggest one is probably going to be about 4 or 5 inches long. Excuse me. What is it? Drongo. Drongo showed me where the cats are. And centipedes are venomous. The first pair of legs are modified into a little pair of claws that have hypodermic needles that connected to venom ducts, venom glands, and are capable of injecting quite a potent I think it's a bit of a cocktail of venom, but mostly a neurotoxin. And centipedes are very flat and soft-bodied, as opposed to millipedes. So centipedes are venomous, millipedes can be poisonous. And distinguishing between venomous and poisonous, if something's poisonous, it'll kill you it'll make you sick if you eat it. Something that's venomous will make you sick if you bite it. I mean, if it bites you. Sorry, my brain is thinking of one thing and my eyes are seeing another, and consequently, my eye, sorry. A couple of toe marks, but they hyena toes, not lion toes. Now I've left my toes behind. But yeah, something that is venomous is something that makes you sick if it bites you or stings you. And then the other part of Phyllis's question was whether as a centipede or a millipede grows, does it add segments, or is it born with the same amount of segments and each segment just grows accordingly? And yeah, that part of the question is right. Segments aren't added, they are born complete. And as they grow, each segment grows. They don't add segments as such. Come, Sandy Patch, where are you? Smaller mongoose-sized tracks. I'm not seeing big lion-sized tracks. Hyena tracks. That looks like one. Looks like she could still be here on the road. Well, we know her to cover quite huge distances when she's on foot. She could have even headed down towards Gowrie Dam. This is the decider. Which way she went at this junction. I'm just going to walk around a little bit. sure Herman will be able to find you a bird or two. Oh boy. Oh, we've got a bit of a slow leak in the tyre already. She's turned down this road here. I was saying earlier on, before we lost signal, how there are natural animal paths in the bush. And now that we've made roads for the vehicles, a lot of the animals use the roads. And the cats are one of them. And she's come down this road. We'll follow these tracks to the next junction and see whether she continued on the road or whether she cut through an open area ahead of us and went down towards Philemon's Dip. And once again, let me just check. Oh, there's a wildebeest straight ahead of us. I wonder if that's our bull from quarantine. The brindled gnu or blue wildebeest. I'm sure he might have had a bit of a scare last night with this cat coming past. He's a bit big for her to have taken down on her own. I do know of lioness that have been able to take wildebeest on their own, and I'm quite sure that Sandy Patch has had a lot of experience on her own, since she does mostly only hunt on her own. But I think with that youngster, I don't know if she would take the chance. Too much of a risk of injury to tackle a full-grown wildebeest bull. What is that? That spider web going into that bush there, just in front of the wildebeest. Something white and there's a very thick strand of silk. Spider silk, of course, being one of the strongest compounds known to man, and humans are still trying to copy the properties of spider silk. We're getting close, but still no cigar. Now, Sandy Patch continued along Zoe's road. We're actually headed in the direction that we're going anyway, so We'll see if we can find her. We might be able to. Can't promise. Always fun if we can pick up tracks and follow the tracks until we find the animal. Very exciting when that happens. She might have headed down towards the old hyena den, so we've got to look for tracks again. Just got to keep checking the road because she's more likely to stay on a road than cross through patches of thicker bushveld. Wildebeest come this way. Looking at any sign of... Oh, I think she might have turned in. Only sort of turn off the road when they're getting from... when the road doesn't go their way. If they've got a specific direction that they... Hyenas. Let's got to listen to this. Okay, still a number of vehicles there. So we're not going to rush down towards Twin Dams just yet. I'm eager to get there. I'm sure everybody is too. But hyena have been very busy. And I wonder if this had something to do with Sandy Patch's presence. I'll go a little bit further and keep checking the road for tracks. She seems to have left the road. We might have to do Philemon's Dip, see if she came out there. Big good morning or good evening. I think it might be good morning, I'm not sure. To Tobias, 6-year-old Tobias. It's so great having youngsters with us because there's so much... What is that? Oh good, only a stick. I don't like crunches in the wet season. Sorry Tobias, I'm just looking at some tracks again. But Tobias is watching with Grandma Linda. And so much to teach youngsters. They're just... if one can only get through to more children through this medium, because instilling an interest in nature can only stand the child in good stead in the future, especially the way the world is going. Children have to be so much more aware of the environment now than we were when we were kids. And not very much was taught to us at school. In fact, as a youngster I was one of the only ones in a school of, well, in a very big school that was at all interested in nature. I was kind of the nature nerd. My snakes and tropical fish and anything that lived and moved and grew. I wanted to play with it. I kept spiders, I kept terrapins. Because I don't like the concept of keeping exotic animals anymore. As a child one doesn't know better. Kay was asking quite an interesting question. You know, during extended periods of drought, where do animals go for water? What do animals do? I'm sure I saw a zebra somewhere. He must have moved off. Well, drought periods obviously do take their toll. Animals have an innate ability to find water, and of course during extended drought periods there's always going to be some water somewhere, especially some of the permanent rivers. There might still be pools and puddles, and I think one of the indicators for animals a certain amount of bird life. Of course there are certain sounds associated with water at night. Animals have exceptional hearing, and they're able to travel distances until they come to water. But naturally, a lot of animals will succumb to the drought over time. One of those equalizing things. And we now have rhino tracks that are going. That's a huge rhino, boy. Probably shorthorn. Must have missed him because he moved in the opposite direction. Not seeing any sign of sandy patch on this road other than these rhino tracks. Actually looks like he turned around, this rhino. Came up and turned around. Nope. That's old. Other fresher tracks. That one's fresh. That was yesterday. There's vehicle tracks on top of it. Must have been going to sandy patch yesterday, so it's not as fresh. It looks like there's still a bit of rain on top of those rhino tracks. Obviously some areas that are enclosed, I mean we do have, apart from this is the greater Kruger area, so animals have free range over a few million acres here. So there's a lot of leeway for animals during extended drought periods to get to some of the main rivers and of course some of the man-made dams. Man-made dams I think are one of the things that help to some extent when animals are, or rather when the drought has dried up more natural water sources. But there are many game farms or small game reserves, game ranches that would have to provide artificial water sources during extended drought periods, and the dilemma there would be to make sure that animals still have enough grazing, because having a water point in a drought during a drought time puts far too much pressure on the immediate surroundings around a water hole or a water point, because animals will be loath to move too far away from the water being such a dependent feature in their lives. And so they would overutilize, I guess the best word, overutilize the surrounding vegetation. And that can lead to severe consequences in the future. Overgrazing leads to loss of topsoil and soil erosion. Not much here than buffalo tracks.
Johnny? Yeah? Hey, that's right, buddy, man. You weren't lucky about the dollar. You will. Corey just said over the Eastern Channel that there's fish from Gary, Maine. Is that true? Are you coming to Loatina? No. I think Surprise is somewhere there in the area, but Corey from Little Gary, Kaluma, that there's fish from Gary, Maine. Probably quarter of Asia, but yeah, a little bit of it. Don't you want to grab that and Gary and just go inside, brother?
Some of the guys from Eastern Channel wanting us to grab that dead buffalo by the horns and drag it where they're going to be able to see it. Fat chance. We've been in that boat where there's been something on the other side of the boundary. There was that leopard killed just before I went on leave, up in a tree that Karula had, excuse me, Right up on cheetah cut line. It was just off the boundary. We could pick it up with the camera, but we couldn't go in there. And it sounds like this time it's our turn. Lion killed the buffalo on our side of Gowrie, Main. Wonderful to have an area where animals can move freely, but we are restricted by politics. A little road, we can be on this side of the road but not on the other. It's just all fair and square. This is all privately owned land, and some of the landowners are a little bit particular about how many vehicles they have on their property. I can relate to that in a big way. Big female, this must be floppy ear. Big female hyena tracks on the road here. Zebra and buffalo. Still no sandy patch. She must have cut through from Zoe's road coming through towards Philemon's Dip. I'm guessing probably roundabout where the Bush Braai site is, so she might be around Gowrie Dam actually. And I'm still actually head to Gowrie Dam now. I'm itching to go and see the Mapogos eating this buffalo. And I know at some point, if they're not doing it already, at some point they're going to be flat caps. Getting up every now and then to eat a little bit more and then lie down again. So who we got here? Hyena have been very active here last night. Zebra. I'm hearing what sounds like a raptor. No, not you, Franklin. Yeah. Might have been wrong. Noise is a bit muffled in the cab of the Landy, in the cab of the Jigger. The hum of electronics. I caught something out the corner of my ear. So I head up to quarantine. There isn't a sausage on the sausage tree. After all those flowers. I think with only one sausage tree, all those flowers get eaten in a way that none of them pollinate. None of them are pollinated, apart from the fact that they're very specific species of animal that pollinate the Kigelia, or the
female lion and waiting for a gap that he can go to the 2 male lions that are on a buffalo kill. So stay with us. Hopefully we won't have any more power issues. And I'm just going to quickly speak to Mark, tell him his sound is back up, and then he'll start talking to you again.
tracks of big male giraffe further back there, and I'm seeing what looks like to be him further up. Oops, another view of something in the distance. There might just be a termite mound. Where was it? There's a termite mound. Johnny, come in. Take some, you copy? There he is. Big giraffe bull, beautiful dark color. There's a female ahead of us. We're going to head up and see him. Beautiful light this morning. Folks, we're all pretty much itching to get to these lions, and I'm trying to monitor the radio to see when we will have a gap, as we call it. We do have to follow protocol. And trying to fill the time in between. Good morning, madam. Here's Mrs. Giraffe, one of his wives. Oops. seems to have two females. Oh, gorgeous. She's a pretty old lady, this. Which station we're in, Gala? He is huge. We're talking 20 feet or so. Let me try this radio. Johnny, your Texan come in? Mrs. G. Dung beetles flying around. It's nice to see. It's the first one I've seen in a while. We're following the giraffe. Oh, very strong smell. You smell him, Herman? Which station with Ngala? Not getting much of a response out of the vehicles this morning. Oh, we'll make our way there then. Get closer. Gosh, an exceptionally strong smell coming from him. Possibly been mating. Or he hasn't been using his underarm deodorant. Giraffe normally have to stretch their necks to get the leaves on the tallest of the trees. Here he's bending to try and get some of the lower ones. Both him and this one female eating the fresh green leaves on these apple leaf or rain trees. And the female at the back of us also feeding on an apple leaf. Well, let's make our way towards Twin Dams. It seems something might be wrong with the radio this morning. Well, since that last little dip when you lost us, might have knocked out the radio or something. We'll leave these giraffe for now. Bye-bye, children. See you, madam. wildebeest was here last night because there's some fresh tracks there where he was digging in the sand, and now he's way up on Zoe's road. So I'm wondering if at some stage Sandy Patch didn't come through quarantine towards Gowrie Dam, and with her presence here, encourage the wildebeest to move off of the open area. But there are no tracks, I'm not seeing anything as yet. Morning, Starling. I guess something must have happened to the radio because it wouldn't be such extended periods of silence with a lion sighting, the lion on a buffalo kill. Radio normally a lot more active, even though we do turn the sound down quite often. The sound has been up. Oh, I hope that didn't do anything. Rose's aliens.
Rose's aliens.
They hijacked our frequency.
Perfect morning. Maybe there's just something about the bush this morning.
It's from that rain. I think I'm very lucky to be doing a drive this morning after that rain.
I'm also very lucky, even though I didn't misread the schedule.
Excuse me. I don't normally get allergies. I don't know. I guess that's the thing about age. No such thing as normal anymore. Morning, Mrs. Waterbuck. And you too. Lovely light coming through that long hair of the waterbuck. What's she watching? She's not interested in us. She's listening to something. And here Lurie's shouting. Yes, good morning. Yeah, I'm here. What are you looking at? I'm looking at you. Very pretty antelope. But I'm sure the longer we're not at that the lion, at that sighting, I think the more impatient you guys are getting. Can't wait.
To say it's Africa because they're all the time in the world.
It is indeed. And it's not like lying on a buffalo killer going anywhere for the next 2 or 3 days. But it is time to go and get a bit closer and see if we can find out how many vehicles are still there, seeing if we can get in there just yet. Here we go, getting some action on the radio again. Somebody is clicking, coming through the repeater. Ah, here we go. Any station copy me? Okay. What's going on? Best bet is just to go and see.
Maybe just because we're in range.
Yeah.
The radio on the top.
See if it makes any difference. Take some. Morning, babblers. Rhino tracks. Able to read? No. Johnny, come in. Spaceship Enterprise, do you copy? Some muffled reply. Switch radios again. That one on 4, that one on 2. Try it on the other radio. Any station with Ngala copy? No. Nada. Bado kidogo. We're on Twin Dams Road, folks. We're a few hundred yards away. You can see the giant jackalberries in the distance.
Hello?
Hello?
Giraffe?
Wie ist das? Corvus, do you copy? Is it Corvus?
How much ground there? So what this chicken? Or you took out? I'm sure little guy for. No other close on Marty here. That's when we put out there. So
there's still vehicles there.
maybe shoot them so can put them smart there. Yeah, because Texan is calling Daga. Maybe we.
Texan or Johnny come in?
Throw this back radio.
Texan, Johnny, come in. I'm not reading too well, I'm not receiving. How many mobiles with Ngala? Any Eastern mobiles picking me up? Not getting those.
Yabo.
Morning. Who's that?
Johnny.
Johnny. What's happening with Ngana?
It's myself an hour here on lock. Yeah. Space for one.
Where about are they?
It's on the southern side of Twin Dams, right below the dam wall.
Okay, yeah. Well, I can't come in yet, so I'll wait till one of you leave.
I'll give you a shout, Moxie, don't worry.
Okay, copy, thanks.
Johnny. Cool. Okay, you'd like to respond?
Yeah, we still can't go there.
Morning.
Hey Andrew. Hey Errol. Hey M4. I call me January. Vukil. Okay, I'm cool. Okay. 2 sightings. Okay, so maybe I won't disturb that sighting if I go there. What's happened with the radio, with channel 2? Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Morning folks, have a lovely morning. Okay, well, that's nice. We get a little bit of an idea of things. Evidently the boys are split up a little bit. We might not get... Well, I'm not going to preempt anything. I'm not sure what the situation is. But one of the males lying this side of the dam wall. Not sure where the buffalo is, where the kill is. One of the reasons why we haven't been able to pick anybody up is because they're not on our channel. There's some fresh buffalo down there. I wonder if that's got anything to do with the dead buffalo. Johnny, come in. Evidently there's one Madoda on the northern side of the dam wall. Can I pull into that one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, pull in from that side, Mark. You can't see him from Gary, man. This space locked.
I see him.
If he comes over, then yeah.
I see him. Okay, copy, thanks. There he is, flat cat. Okay, everybody, hold on to your seats. We've got one of the kings of the jungle ahead of us. Trying to sneak up on him while he's sleeping. Hope he doesn't get too angry. I wouldn't exactly say sneak up on him, but here we go. Oh, look at him, Mr. T, I think that is. Morning, Squire. I think what we'll do is we'll just turn in like this. Good morning, Mr. Lion. Panting, oh yes, a little bit of lifting his lip there. He's not too happy, but he should calm down. Eyes are a bit wide, he's blinking, that's fine. The tail isn't giving any indication of too much aggression. He just lifted his lip a little bit just to sort of go grah. I can see a very full belly. The panting, of course, not too much because of the heat right now, but heavy breathing. Very heavy breathing. Got a lot to do with aiding digestion. So folks, this is one of the notorious Mapogo boys. On. Captain Ahab. Morning to you, Squire. I wonder where Captain Ahab is from. I'm guessing a lot of you guys on Justin TV are West Coast, US of A. California. Captain Ahab, early morning live wildlife viewing from African bushveld. You don't get better than this. Well, we do. We can get a little bit gory in a few minutes when we get to see where the buffalo kill is. Now, our buffalo, I think, are big as big as your bison, bigger. You know. Maybe somebody can just come through to me with the shoulder height and weight of your your North American bison, and I'll try and put it into perspective of the size of our African buffalo. And here we have two cats, two kitty cats that have pulled down an African buffalo, Cape buffalo. Just to clarify, we don't get water buffalo in Africa. Although common names, of course, can be misleading. Now, contrary to popular belief, lions are not very active. They can afford to take it pretty easy in between meals. Of course, two fully grown male lion are going to take a while to eat such a large animal like a buffalo. We're talking about something that must weigh probably around 800 kilograms, standing 5 feet at the shoulder. Pound-wise, what is that? 800 kgs, 1,400 pounds maybe. bit early for the calculator in my brain to be working. And they will feed off of this buffalo. It'll probably take 3 days or more to get through most of this buffalo. And of course in between doing all the digesting, just sleeping and digesting. Still a little bit early for, although it should be starting now, for the air to warm up and produce thermals to get some of the raptors here. I can see in the distance a bateleur flying around. Now the bateleur is although it's one of the snake eagles, it's one of the indicator raptors, scavengers. It has a very low altitude of flight, and it is slowly making its way here. Looks like a juvenile just by the way it's flying, or a sub-adult. And as soon as a bateleur shows interest in this carcass, it'll attract some of the smaller vultures, the likes of maybe hooded or white-backed vulture, not white-backed, white-headed vulture. And it's the presence of some of these earlier indicator species that will bring, of course, the larger numbers of the larger vultures, like the likes of white-backed vulture and lappet-faced vulture. Lappet-faced vulture being the largest of all. And according to size of beak and size of bird, this is the sequence in which they arrive at a carcass, as well as it not determines, but it has a bearing on what altitude they soar at and when they're able to see things. The lowest, of course, is the bateleur, soaring at about 200 feet. Another eagle is the tawny eagle, which is very closely related to the golden eagle. And the tawny eagle also being a scavenger. I've noticed tawny eagles more coming close to leopard kills and lion kills, mostly on account of the fact that they're probably not going to get a chance in on a lion kill. But the birds like the white-backed vultures and lappet-faced vultures that are soaring 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet, maybe even the leopard-faced a little bit higher, they're not necessarily looking for a carcass, they're looking for the likes of bateleurs and white-headed vultures and hooded vultures that are going to be able to see these things a lot easier.
What did you say, mate? Is that like you're yes, Gary, mate, keep this open. I think you're yumming on it. Yeah. I think we should chuck around up that rock and dig in. Oh, I think so. Come on.
Well, we can change angles and go down in front of him, to the side of him. And when he does lift his head like that, let's see. He's going to roll over. No. He was about to roll over and maybe look at us. Very often lion will lie on their back, also a much more comfortable position for digesting their food. Here comes a young bateleur. You can see, I don't know if you can get him, Herman, but this is the bateleur I saw in the distance. And this bateleur doing tight circles, which is typical of a bateleur. And I'm pretty sure he's going to see something soon. You can see another one far in the distance.
No, straight to
Moving away. It's concentrating on too tight an area below it, but it'll eventually come over here. Bateleur sort of fly in grids. And very soon some of the vultures will be making their way into the thermals, looking for this very thing, looking for a bear, doing tight circles and eventually dropping down and alighting on a tree. And as soon as that happens, it's quite incredible how vultures can come in from absolutely nowhere. You can see a clear blue sky without any sign of anything, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, birds come in. But for now, he's gone. Okay, so bison probably a little bit taller and heavier than our buffalo. So thanks for some of those answers. And a question, how old is Mr. T? Gosh. I believe the Mapogos are about 8 years old. Which would be putting them sort of towards the end of their reign, towards the end of their tenure as dominant males within an area. Let's get him from this angle. Gosh, look at that.
Johnny.
Most beautiful eyes, amber eyes.
JJ. Go. 4.
Johnny, come in. Yeah, I'm trying not to. Excuse my coughing and sneezing this morning. I don't know where it's come from. Well, I do actually, but I don't think it would be as bad as this. Yeah, we're not very far from where the kill is. And right in front of us is the drying up mud from twin dams. To our left is the wall of the dam. Just on the other side of the wall is the buffalo kill. And we're lucky because...
You can make your way in as well. I'm making my way.
Sorry about that. We just got many other vehicles that have access to it. Because it's so close to our boundary road. Johnny, do you copy? Jason, come in. How many movers you got on that side of the dam wall?
Right.
Oh, Ryan, how's it doing? How many movers there?
I don't know. I'm not sure if Al's still here. I know Dr. Dre's on his way as well. Have you got one over there with you?
Yeah, family.
Right, that's yeah. Like I said, I'm not sure if Al's here. Then there'll be 3 of us, and Andre's on his way. I'm not going to be too long. I'm probably only going to be about 5, and then if you want to come in here and grab you.
Okay, no, I'm fine here for now. We'll check in a bit.
No, it's like that. You say just on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, family.
Jay, I'm out. Jay, Ryan, I'm out.
Some Radio is very loud and some very soft. Manually adjust volume. Something gave him a fright. Did you see that? There was something gave him a bit of a jump. Then the dung beetle came flying through, but I doubt that it was the dung beetle. Pardon? A little bit muddy, a little bit. Can't hear you, sorry? Oh, sorry. Just below the dam wall on the other side of the wall is another mud wallow, and I'm guessing that they possibly pulled him down there because he is quite muddy. Like that. Oh, there, okay. Patch of mud on his cheek over there. That magnificent cat. His face is a bit muddy too, his nose, chin, but his feet of course, his knee. Not much blood, but he is full, he's been eating a lot. I would have expected a bit more blood around the mouth. Maybe he's cleaned up a bit since he was feeding. Some impala beyond him, way in the distance across the open area, all grazing pretty peacefully. I think they're oblivious to what's going on here, and of course they would be. Even if they saw him, they'd probably give a few alarm snorts, but as long as they can see him at a distance, they won't be too concerned. I've seen an impala walk within 10-15 yards of sleeping full-bellied lion. Speculation on how much he would weigh. Would that be with or without the last 20 kilograms of buffalo that he's been eating? Station calling, Mark?
Yeah, Johnny, if you want, I've just told it centipedes and Montonia, 3 hours down.
Copied, yeah, I was following Mkonzo on Zoe's and then left Zoe's down towards the, sort of turned in towards the old hyena, Pisikaya. Great stuff, maybe get there a bit later.
Okay, copy.
Well, there we go. We were tracking Sandy Patch and Cub,
But you guys Thursday, can I join?
and Johnny found her. Trias Dam. There we go. I see one of the first vultures taking to the air in the distance, but it's not coming here. It's trying to find, that must be one of the ones from maybe Vulture's nest, one that roosts in that area. And is that a cuckoo that's just flying across there? That must have been. That vulture's not coming this way. It's trying to find a thermal. And another vulture. No, that's a better. There we go. Here comes one now. I think it's Vulture. There we go. Let's see if we can follow this one in. But if this vulture comes in, the others are going to start coming in pretty quick. It's not very often that you get a kill and you get everything happening immediately. It depends on which other birds are around, and it depends on who sees it first. And this is going to be interesting, because this would be a vulture finding it before the likes of the batelier or one of the smaller vultures. Here he comes. Do a turn. No. Oh, we'll keep our eye on it. Another one way off to the north of us. And a lot of people have this notion that you have the kill and you have all the other scavengers arriving pretty quickly, and sometimes it can take a bit of time. Sometimes it's not as immediate as one might think. Just seeing that impala in the distance seems to be an impala that might have seen this lion already. Vulture behind us coming back, and vulture to the north coming through. No, as I said, not vulture, batelier to the north. Oh, not yet. They both seem to have missed things. Hyena, of course, will probably pick up the scent tonight, maybe. Lion will keep them at bay, though. I've noticed even times lion don't even let the vultures come in. They keep them in the trees, keep them away from the kill. Even to the extent of the lion actually sleeping with their head on their kill to keep the scavengers away. And not likely to get jackal coming in. Maybe we don't have any jackals relatively close by that they would come in and scavenge. Jackal being very agile little animals, and they are able to actually sneak in and grab a bite even while lion are feeding. I've seen that before. And although hyena numbers can intimidate lion, I think there's very little that will intimidate the two Mapogos here. Looks like a tawny eagle now way up above us. A lot of raptors that are trying to get an early start. I guess the last day or so being overcast, not too great. Been waiting for a day like this. Going to be some pretty good thermals turning the skies today. I'll keep my eye open as soon as I see something. Looks like one of them are coming down. One of them catch a wind of this. Very interestingly, our vultures in Africa locate prey by sight, or rather not prey but meals, kills, dead animals. We are what we call the old world, and it's the old world vultures that locate by sight. North America known as the New World. Scavengers there, the likes of turkey vultures and buzzards and things, they locate by scent. And if you look at the faces or the beak of the two different types of vulture, you'll notice much larger nostrils in the North American scavengers than in ours. Accounts for their better sense of smell. Are they? They still can't go. Yeah. There's a dickup or a thickney straight across, sitting in the shade between some young knobthorn trees while our king is sleeping. Known as a water thickney or a water dickup. Nocturnal bird, mostly associated with water. These were nesting, or these have been in this area since there's been water here, and I guess they're hoping that the water is going to come back soon. I think we're all hoping the water will come back soon. It will. The rains have started. I guess we could say that this is now the official start of the wet season, having had this first thunderstorm yesterday, and looking forward to getting many, many more. Another thing I've just noticed, which I should have noticed earlier, are these buffalo tracks from where he's lying, walking, coming towards us, back and forth. And it must be one of these buffalo that they must have taken down. Looking very comfortable with his... No, he's moving. But he had his front paws crossed. Very muddy back paws. They're not too concerned with the mud. It'll dry and crumble. Yeah. Oh boy. It's tough being a lion. Except now he's being a bit antisocial. Sounds like there may be only two vehicles over on the other side of the wall. We'll wait for one of them to leave and we'll be able to go over. And I must warn you though, it might be a little bit gory. While a lot of people want to see kills and things, sometimes it's not as pleasant in real life as it can be. Unfortunately, or for that matter, could be fortunately, we didn't see the kill happen. Although it's a very exciting thing and very much adrenaline pumping to watch something like that, especially would have been with two male lions bringing down a buffalo, can take sometimes a couple of hours. It's not a very quick process, but it can be quite disheartening because the process can take so long to eventually kill the animal. Maybe not as harsh once it has been killed and seeing them eating. I think if we went back to Finneman's cut line, we'd find sandy patches, tracks crossing our tracks. Because I especially looked at the junction to Treehouse Dam to see if she had maybe gone through there. There was nothing. So who was there? Ryan?
Thought it was only around 4 days.
Andre, come in.
Yeah, what?
Are you alone there?
Jason putting us Mark also on that side of the demo.
Yeah, no, I want to come over that side. This is Mark.
Sorry Mark, but you're coming off here, just myself here now.
Yeah, cool. I want to come over.
Copy.
Okay.
Andre connect the bike off. And to stick it up.
Our moment has arrived for us to move around there. I know some people have been on. Yeah, go.
Check your Facebook account so that I can take with you if you
Cool. Some of you have asked for a close-up of the eye. Maybe we'll get to see the other boy. We'll get an eye for you. Oops, sorry. Got to take it out of gear when you start a car. Or at least put the clutch in. And while I'm moving around to the other side to see this, answer a question from Robin. Hi Robin. Wanting to know whether impala can impale a predator in a fight. Well, it's not so much, Robin, it's not so much a fight. And I don't know if it would happen with a lion, but I've known leopard to be injured in that way. And it's not so much as a fight as in an impala struggling during a kill situation and managing to gore a leopard. But very much so. Horns on antelope are there because they are weapons during dominant fights, etc. And seeing a number of vehicles here. And they will use their horns in defense when a predator attacks. And buffalo have impaled lion. I've seen lion with very bad injuries. I've known lion to be killed by buffalo from their horns. I mean, you look at this, the shape and configuration of, wow, there he is. Wow, okay. They haven't fed on much by the looks of things. They've opened up this buffalo from the gut. So if we come through here, we're going to block. Oh, he's. Let me see where we're going to get a good view here. Go around the other side of the pan, maybe. Oh, we can try. I just want to go any further forward. I'm going to block Andre's view. That lion's actually not looking too happy. I don't know if we'll get to see see anything from that side of the pan, but we can try. Finally everybody's left this location. And we luckily have a pretty good zoom on the camera. So this is going to be a bit bumpy. And luckily this pan is not filled up yet. Oops. And I think it was a puncture, that's lead wood. There we go. You're not going to see much blood, but they have emptied the stomach contents. Very raw neck. Okay, first we see him. This is, I don't know, normally a lion named Kinky Tail that's with Mr. T. I'm still not very familiar with the Mapogos. In fact, I've only ever seen two, possibly these same two. They killed a buffalo here a number of months ago, probably I think June, July. Just barely 100 yards from where we, in fact probably only about 50, 60 yards from where we are right now. That's where they'd killed that other one. You can see a lot of scuff marks on the damn wall, which is where they must have had him. They must have pinned him against the wall. I see blood there too, a lot of blood on the ground. Buffalo's neck very raw. They would have had to hold on to that windpipe to strangle him. My guess is one of them would have held him down from the front. Jaw clamped very tightly over the, not only the jugular but the esophagus as well, the windpipe, cutting off the air supply. Sometimes they'll actually put their mouth right over the nose and mouth of their prey and suffocate it that way. And possible that the other male may be holding it down at the back. A couple of starlings benefiting from maybe insects and things that will be coming to the smell of the carcass. Virtual starlings benefiting from the demise of other animals, or the presence of other animals even. It would be so nice if that other boy came over the damn wall right now. this buffalo lying in the open like this, they're not going to be feeding too much during the day, I don't think. Especially the hotter it gets during the day. I'd say it's still a bit heavy for them to drag off into the shade. Not impossible, but I don't think they would go to that trouble. I can't believe these vultures in Birdlife, I haven't seen this yet. But they do generally look down rather than at an angle from where they're flying, and it will need somebody to fly directly overhead to see it. We just need one to see it and come down to attract the others. This was a big buff. There's a bull just beyond his prime, probably one of the Duggar boys. I'm sure we've seen him before. Cool. I'm looking at some claw marks on his rump, above his thigh. So it would have been one at the back, one at the front. Looks like a huge puncture mark above his nose. Not easy to see from this angle, but trying to analyze how they would have done this. And I think using that damn wall would have given them a slight advantage.
Stations leaving Mapogo on lock with Mark. Station 2.
Well, definitely a Duggar boy. Just looking at his horns and his butt, it was definitely one of the Duggar boys. Claire, we'll try and get to see his face. I know Claire probably be able to.
Mark.
I'm going to say Claire. Mark your go.
Did you copy what's in the Dutch?
Affirmative.
Stop, enjoy.
You see Lalapanzia treehouse?
Oh,
Okay, copy, thanks.
the southern side of the Marty, you'll see my mobile concept.
Okay, thanks and for. Right, where are we? Claire wanting to see his face, buffalo. Maybe Claire will get an idea whether we've seen this boy before. Claire's always pretty good on the IDs of some of our animals. I'm not sure if I got around to the weight question, because when we were still on the other side with the other male, question came in about what the weight of these lion would be, and I think I was about to answer it when something happened. We're talking about whether it's including the 20 odd kilos of meat that he might have eaten. I don't think I've eaten that much. Certainly a good few kilograms of meat. They must have got in from the stomach. Maybe eaten some of the forequarters. Just looking at the bush, thinking of how I could maybe get around there to see the other side of the buffalo. The other thing would be to maybe, I doubt whether we'd be able to do it on the damn wall. But male lions in their prime, I guess about up to 250, 260 kilograms in the wild. Not too sure what that would be in pounds. Probably close on 300 pounds, maybe a bit more. Maybe 350. Somebody can do a conversion for me. But less than half the weight of this buffalo at least. I mean, this buffalo must have been a good 7, maybe 800 kilos. An indictment into the strength of these cats. Not to be messed with, not to be taken for granted. And while they do look like sleeping pussycats most of the time, they can go from sleeping to killing in a split second. And having fed probably the majority of the night, it's not easy to say when they would have killed it, but it must have been sometime during the night. There was still moonlight. I'm just looking at the moon setting now. Still got a waning gibbous moon. It's probably about a day away. I think it's probably tomorrow that we're in last quarter, and then the following week be a waning crescent. But would have been sufficient moonlight for them to have been able to hunt successfully during the night. And of course, once they've fed, there's not much that they're going to be doing until they've digested a lot and make space for some more meat. So, with a bit of luck, this afternoon's game drive, there might be some different activity in terms of lion feeding or something. But judging by both of their bellies right now, there's not much more than just lying and panting. Day is getting hotter, clouds are building up, there'll be good thermals. Folks, what we're going to do, we're going to just do a bit of a change of scenery quickly. Herman and I are going to move away from here and take our mid-drive break quickly, and then what I'd like to do is just try and get to Treehouse Dam. I'm going to see what Sandy Patch is up to, see if she might have any indication of whether she's eaten during the night, and then maybe come back here on our way home. But for now, not very much happening. If we go away a little bit and come back in a bit, maybe something will be different. Well, yeah, something's different already. Where's he off to? Better shade, perhaps. Thicker shade, yeah. Okay. As it gets hotter, they seek out deeper shade. It was that dapple shade that he was in. As this pan was drying up, elephant and buffalo and rhino came to wallow and left very deep footprints, and that accounts for being a little bit bumpy on our way out. Here's a little bit flat, head's getting down. He's not a very happy cat at the moment. Relax, dude. I don't like his demeanor right now. And I'd rather not test him. I'll just sit here for a moment. And let him, there we go, he's blinking. Relaxed, the eyes are getting softer. That's a little bit more. I don't know if you noticed how wide his eyes were. It was sort of challenging. He's also hunched. His shoulders are hunched. He's almost getting into a posture of a mock charge. And while he probably hasn't done it to a vehicle in a long time, we are a little bit different in our outline, with Herman sitting all alone up there on that chair.
Thank you. Makes me feel very comfortable.
Yeah. Well, you've got a camera between you. I'll give you a bird book you can throw at him. So there we go, he's relaxed a little bit now. You don't want to be too challenging. He's a lot more relaxed now. See, if at one moment we had to drive almost directly towards him, now he's sort of going slightly at an angle. I think he's a little bit concerned. You get a close-up of his eyes. Yes. Blinking is important in any of the cats. The body language is very similar, whether it's a domestic cat, your pussycat on your couch, or whether it's a big cat like this. A little bit concerned about us maybe taking a piece of his meat away. Yeah, she is not happy. Just making sure that his legs are ready for to be able to get up very quickly. But now let's just try and get a shot for Claire through there of our buffalo. And let me move a bit forward, try and get a better gap. Is that good? A buffalo that lived a very full and healthy life. Quite possible, since there was a dogger boy, quite possible that he's no longer sexually reproductive. At this stage of the game, he was really just a lion meal waiting to happen. What we would term senile. An animal is no longer reproductive, sexually active. Is he moving? He's standing up. Oops. He's also moved deeper into the shade by the looks of things. Maybe he's just so big. He's sitting upright, or rather, he doesn't seem to be. Yeah, he is. He's standing. Thought he looked like he was standing. He's so uncomfortable. He's also moving into deeper shade. What's up, boy? Now, as old as I believe these Mapogos are, when they're panting like this, and sometimes when they yawn, you get a glimpse of those canines, and I can just see his lower canines with my binoculars. They're not as worn as I would expect them to be for such old lion. And big males will live to maybe 10, I guess, if they're lucky, but it's average 8 to 10. Ah, well, maybe we get to follow him. Could be that he's thirsty, and his only water is going to be Treehouse Dam from here. I don't think any of these little puddles will be filled up from this rain. It's too much, rather it's been far too dry. It's just too much space for the water to dissipate to. We would need a lot more rain for puddles to fill up. Some of the roads have puddles, and that's because there's nowhere for it to drain away. Looking for water. And while again they might get a lot of moisture from the kill, they are still dependent on water, and particularly during the time of feeding on a kill. I've known lion to cover a couple of kilometers to water and back to the kill. He's going to battle a little bit on this uneven ground. He's a magnificent cat. Look at that. Wow. And we might not go and do what I wanted to do, because if he's going to make his way over the dam wall, then we're also going to go back there. Even if there's a bit of muddy water there, he'll drink it. He's going to be leaving the most incredible paw prints. I'm just looking how those feet are just sinking in maybe about an inch or so. He's leaving exceptional. Oh, his foot's going deep into the mud. You better be careful. He can slip through a crust there and get into trouble. It must be maybe a little bit of muddy water where he's just bending down, but Not happy with it. No. It's a little bit ungainly for a king of the beast to be so unsure of his footing, but as I say, there's a bit of a dry crust and that soft clay underneath, and with that kind of weight, a little bit uncertain about where to put his feet. Also, it's very uneven. There's a hole. That would be an elephant footprint that maybe has collected water. But, yes, not very regal. He's even trying to scratch open something. Yeah, he's going over the damn wall. This is what I wanted to see from the other side. Aha, Impala finally seen him. It's a slight change of plan. Impala shouting now. Let's get back. I want to go back to more or less where we were. If his brother doesn't mind us coming back again. Going back towards the buffalo. What's he scratching now? Let's see where we get a gap through here. Brother's really not happy with us. Although the tail's not swishing from side to side just yet, but he is crouching. See, never say never. Well, while I thought that it possibly wasn't going to be coming back to feed at this time of the not the day, but at this stage of the game, it proves me wrong. Who's got Elvis? What's that? I wonder if that stomach lining that he's getting at. I'm going to pull that out. Okay, I think it's time to maybe try and find a different angle again while he's feeding. Let's see if we can get an unobstructed view of this. No, I've got to try and get around. And now for something completely different. Let's see what we can do through here. Oh, look at this. Dwarf scosa. Do a flower for the ladies quickly. Pretty crimson dwarf scosa flower. Guys, always remember the flowers for the ladies. This might get a bit gory now. Now, cats don't have the same dental configuration as the likes of us humans, with premolars and molars, and the only thing that is the same, of course, are the incisors and the canines. But from the canines, they have what we call the carnassials, which are kind of a combination of premolar and molar, but they are cutting teeth. They're not broad and flat like a molar. They're triangular in shape. They're still bringing out stomach contents there, and they haul out that stomach lining. Not very tasty. I'm wondering why they're not getting to the rump, perhaps the meat. I'm still trying to tear it. Buffalo skin's pretty thick, and it's those side carnassial teeth that he's using now, and I can actually hear him cutting through that thick skin. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I can move that we don't have that branch in the way. Maybe when he's not looking, I'll sneak out and go and break it off. The strength of that, I mean, yeah. We're in a bit of a tight spot here, but the idea was at least to get a view of this just in case he stopped feeding. Let's see if we can move again. Slightly different angle. Or maybe just try and maneuver further up on the wall. Let's see if I can maybe get in there. Or maybe get the back of the Land Rover into that gap. No, there's going to be too much in the way. No, won't work there. Okay, there's another alternative. No, there isn't actually. Angle is a little bit too acute to be up here on the damn wall. No. The best I can maybe do is put the nose in this way. It's still not going to work. We've got this branch that takes. Right to that big branch. There. It's about the best we can do, I'm afraid, from this angle. Any other angle we're not going to see too much. Cloud coming in. It's going to make a big change on their behavior to some extent. Oh, got a wasp on my dashboard with a termite in its mouth. Look at the spider. God. Sorry, I notice small things sometimes. I've decided against taking a break. We'll change a plan. We'll watch him a little bit, and then on our way home we'll just stop in and see if Sandy Patch is still at Treehouse. Just so that we see a lioness and a cub, wow. Just to fill up the morning's lion morning. Now she's definitely not going to come this way. In fact, I don't think she'd be too happy knowing that she was as close to them as she is. I'm actually not sure what would happen. Quite possibly that these boys would kill her cub, as he is a young male. Getting his face right in there. If we go to the right, then we're going to lose him behind the leg of the buffalo. So it's the only angle that we've really got to be able to see what he's feeding on. And well, he's trying to tear the skin from the stomach side. I guess that's where the thinnest skin is. Getting to maybe meat around the ribs. It did look at one moment as though when I had a glimpse of some meat taken off one of the forelegs. Just below his left elbow. A little bit of flesh showing on the buffalo's foreleg. At this stage it's more opening and tearing than it is eating. Yeah, what have we got? Pulling out. At the moment he's pulling out a lot of the viscera. I don't know how nutritious that is, that what he's eating now, but of course every bit helps. And of course he's going to digest every bit of it. It's only hair and bone that lion won't digest. Hyena are the only ones that digest hair and bone. So any hair and bone that he does swallow will come out in his feces. You can see why I call him Mr. T with that Mohican. He just doesn't have the bling. Well, when you're a lion, you don't need bling. I think that was lung. I'm not sure. A lot of the organs are very, very rich. Protein. One way to blow your nose. Some of it he definitely doesn't like. In Afrikaans, excuse me, in Afrikaans there's a saying that doesn't translate very well into English, and it goes, met lang tande eet, to eat with long teeth, and that's kind of what he's doing. Grimacing some of the distasteful parts that are coming out, but somehow determined to still get to whatever membrane that is. Kind of hard to tell because this buffalo was so full of grass. That's a stomach lining, probably one of the stomachs, one of the front stomachs, the first. What he does is obviously spitting out the contents of the stomach, maybe trying to eat the lining. We're going to need a battery change in a sec. Billy, yes, buffalo, bovids, relative of the cows, so yes, identical digestive system to the cows and to most of the other hoofed animals, except of course the zebra. I'm going to do a battery change. Beeping. So we're going to lose picture for a couple of minutes, folks. Okay.
Hello everyone. As Mark was alluding to, our batteries needed a quick switch to the different battery bank. That means that the signal froze a bit, but fortunately it froze on a pretty nice picture. Mark and Herman are switching the battery banks, powering up again, so moving pictures should come back within a minute or maybe even faster than that. So stay with us and enjoy the meal.
Okay, copied. Got to change back camera battery too though. I've seen that behaviour with domestic cats as well even. Distasteful food. He's trying to cover up things that maybe he's now sort of scratching at some blood on the ground. It was almost as though he was trying to cover up the stomach contents. Probably putting him off his food. What you gonna do now, mister? Yes, come stand up on the wall. Oh, lovely. This is going to be nice. Stop here. Well now, let's see if we can go and follow him a bit. Let's get ourselves out of here first. Going to find the best shade he can. I'm talking about the guarri bush the other day, the tree that we use as a toothbrush. Oops, and the thorns there. And the guarri, I think, time and time again, must be one of the favorite shade spots for lion on a hot day. And here he is, a really beautiful sort of, what can I say, just a beautiful picture. Beautiful thick evergreen guarri, the big male lion lying underneath. And that's going to probably be his best shade. Won't get much better than that. Pardon? No. Well, it must be nearly. Okay, having had the best of the morning now, I think, then better than possibly the others had, with a little bit of it, at least a little bit of activity. Let's leave them be. Afternoon drive is going to have lion on a plate. We'll still see if we can get to see Sandy Patch in a couple of minutes. Bye-bye, Squire. Mr. Lion. And here's one of the first birds that has arrived, I've noticed. Who's this up in the tree above us? Let's have a quick look and see who this is. It looks like another scavenger, migrant from more northern parts of Africa, known as the yellow-billed kite. I think it's a kite. I'll just head a bit further on and see it from a different angle. No, it's a Wahlberg. I don't think the Wahlbergs has anything to do with this kill. Because the Wahlbergs isn't really a scavenger. Okay. Maybe just enough time to just pop in at Twin Dams and then head home. Just to see if Sandy Patch is there for a couple of minutes. Amazing how time just goes so fast when there's things to do and see. What's the noise? Birds. It's facing with Ngala treehouse. I think mostly everybody's already gone back for breakfast, perhaps. But nice time of the day. A lot of the vehicles have left sightings and leaving them open. Time for us to be able to view things. No time for a break on today's drive, that's for sure. Maybe could have taken it earlier instead of later, but it's always harder on the camera person with that chair on the back. The back gets a little bit stiff, legs need stretching. But Herman can tough it out. Nothing yet.
Mark, you're live.
Managed to just get the last few minutes out of the first bank of batteries, and here we are with Sandy Patch and a little boy, and hopefully get a few minutes out of this. Sadly, we just missed a tawny eagle on the ground being mobbed by 3 fork-tailed drongos. It was probably eating termites. And it's a gorgeous view of Sandy Patch and her cub, just to round off the morning with the 2 big male lions. Quite a vigilant little girl. You can see how fluffy he's getting. Not too sure how old he is. I'd say he's probably around a year old or so. I know that probably Karen and Claire and Colleen, they know how old the Sandy Patch cubs are. This is the one left of the 3. And while we still got a little bit of battery, there was actually a very nice view of him. I chose to stop here because we could see both of them. And if I go a little bit forward, we get the 2 heads in. No, I won't. It's got trees in the way. I just want to go back down closer to the dam where we got a nicer view of him. Hard Sandy Patch, but we'll get a nice view of him. And a beautiful posture, beautiful pose. A little bit back. There. Is that okay? Just a blade of grass in the way. Yeah, this little boy is going to grow up into one of those big buffalo-eating boys in a few years' time. It will take him a good 4 or 5 years before he becomes full-grown. With this mane, well, that mane will probably only come out when he's 6. Mane is fairly full at 5. I mean, lion is in his prime at 5, but that mane, by the time he's 6, is going to be at its fullest. 6 going on 7. I've just been stung on the stomach by something. I think it was caught in my shirt. Serious. I'll live. Folks, in case we lose you, and you're going to lose us very, very quickly, thanks for joining us. Thanks to all the wee people, and thanks to the Justin TV people, from Mark and Herman on the jigger. Bye for now. We're going to be freezing the picture in a minute, but that's not us. The batteries are going to be...
Well, folks, this really is the end. Well, it's both 8:30 and out of battery life, so actually that worked out quite well. It's great that we got to see Sandy Patch and her cub in the end as well. So lots of lions on this drive, and given the amount of meat still left on the buffalo, there's a pretty good chance that there'll be lions on the next drive as well. So if you can, join us later today for our afternoon drive. I'm not sure about all the Eastern Standard Times and Pacific Standard Times, but maybe our moderators could put that into the chat for those of you that are not exactly aware of our drive times. And then, of course, after today's afternoon drive, there's always a fireside chat that we have on Sunday, where we sit around the fire and talk about certain things. That's always nice to watch as well. And then of course tomorrow, same time, same place, there's our morning drive again. So I hope to see you all there, or between drives at the waterhole. Thank you for watching, it was great, and goodbye for now. Well, maybe one last thing. Yesterday we had a thunderstorm here, and that caused some problems with the sound at the waterhole. So at the moment at the waterhole we don't have any sound to go with the picture. As soon as I get a chance and I'm able to go in front of the lodge to where our cameras are, I'm going to try to sort it out, and hopefully the sound will be back pretty soon. But in the meantime, just enjoy the hippo at the moment, and Alamo and Sipiwa are going to take over and show you what else is at the waterhole.